right, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome inside A Bettor Morning, brought to you by Rival Fantasy. Rival Fantasy is your all-in-one fantasy sports platform. Tell you a little bit more about that coming up on the program. But this is the Bettor Morning. Shout out to everybody joining us this morning. Good morning to each and every last single one of you as we get ready for Wednesday, October 4th, another day in the world of sports. Today, got some Major League Baseball action. Wild card series underway. Recap, break down a couple of those for you, let you know where they stand. Also want to start to turn the page and get ready for week number, what are we at, Cather, 4 of the NFL season. So feeling pretty good about that one right there. Week 5. Look at that. We're already into week 5 of the NFL season, and we're already starting to see some different storylines develop. So I want to touch on a couple of those things. Got a big week of games this week. Every week I always tell you we got these critical matchups taking place in the American Football Conference. This week we got Baltimore and Pittsburgh, World War III. You know how those two teams get after it. Interesting matchup between Tennessee and Indianapolis, which I'm going to touch on today. And also we see where the Cincinnati Bengals trying to get their season back together. They got to go out to Arizona this week. That Arizona Cardinal team, best ATS team in the league so far this season. They were a team that's tremendously undervalued, and they have been getting it done against the spread. Can they pull the upset at home this weekend? So plenty of stuff to talk about this week, but where I want to start at, and I do want to discuss some of the young quarterbacks, the top 3 quarterbacks in this year's rookie draft class. Toronto Dave was shaking, baby. The top 3 quarterbacks in this year's rookie draft class, and that's Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and my guy Anthony Richardson out there with the Indianapolis Colts. Now, one of the things that I will say is Bryce is off to a slower start, but I'm still a Bryce Young guy. I think the problem with Bryce Young is Frank Reich. And I was warned about Frank Reich when I was back in the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young coming into the season. And now I see where that ineptitude is probably going to cause this kid to get hurt a couple times this season with that offensive line and that pass rush. But this week, they are in Detroit as a 9.5-point underdog. And I keep thinking to myself, and I keep saying like every week, are we really at the point where we're starting to lay 5, 6, 7, now up to 9, 10 points with the Detroit Lions? And I'll be honest with you, you go through some ATS stats from the past couple years, from the Dan Campbell era, and you know what? The Detroit Lions cover spreads. They cover spreads as underdogs. They cover spreads as short favorites. And now they're starting to cover spreads at bigger favorites. So this year, right, basically in their past, since they've been on this hot streak, when they are a favorite, they normally are about a 5-point favorite, and they normally win the games by about 9 points. Well, you see this week, they're a 9.5-point favorite versus the Carolina Panthers. And their rookie quarterback, Bryce Young. This is an interesting matchup, in my opinion, because I think the style is going to dictate this game, the style of the play of these two teams. The Detroit Lions are not really going to sit back there and hammer you with the run. They're going to try to get over the top and make some plays in the air. The problem is the Carolina Panthers has been pretty good defending the pass this year. Carolina can't stop the run, but you also got to think about teams being in plus games theory when they play Carolina. So Carolina sees more runs than most teams in the NFL because Carolina is always playing from behind. Teams are trying to protect the lead when they're going up against the Carolina Panthers. Now, last season, late in the year, when Carolina was on their little run, Detroit came to Carolina, and Carolina beat Detroit. Detroit, I believe, was a favorite that weekend. And Carolina beat Detroit kind of with no problem. The final score may have been something like 24-14, something like that. So Carolina made easy work of the Detroit Lions. Now, that was last year, and this is this year. This year, we have to genuflect at the altar of the Detroit Lions, America's team, the lovable losers, right? Because you can't tell nobody that the Detroit Lions are not the top team in the NFC. Well, this is not that big of a test this weekend because you do got a team that doesn't have any wins coming into your building with a rookie quarterback that has the body size of my son. You know what I'm saying? So not really an NFL body, prototypical NFL body, right? Look like a kid out there on the field, even though I still love my man Bryce Young. But I'll be honest with you. In this game right here, I think the Carolina Panthers are live. And I know you're going to say, fantasy executive, you think the Lions opponent is live every week. That's not true. I was on the Lions versus the Packers last week. I was there. Right there. Thursday Night Football, whatever, Amazon Prime. I was there. Lions, Packers, I was there. Cash that ticket. You can't tell me I didn't. This weekend, a little bit different, though. Despite the Lions' strong ATS record, don't you think we're getting a little bit carried away laying 10 points with the Detroit Lions? Like, when you are a team, like teams that I would lay 10 with, I would lay 10 with the Chiefs. I would lay 10 with the Eagles. I would lay 10 with the four. I'm not talking about teams I'd feel comfortable laying a big double-digit spread with. I would feel comfortable laying 10 with San Francisco. I'd feel comfortable laying 10 with Dallas. Anybody else? Nah, Cincinnati, clearly not. Who else would you lay 10 with this year? Would I lay 10 with Miami? Miami's laying double digits this week, but that's against the Giants. Yeah, I probably would lay 10 with Miami. I would lay double digits with Miami. I would lay double digits with Buffalo. Not this week, but in general. But when I think about teams that are strong enough to lay 10 points with, the Detroit Lions don't come to mind. Like Detroit Lions at home, even versus a team that doesn't have to win like Carolina, yeah, I would lay 5, 6, maybe even a touchdown. 10, it's a bridge too far for the fantasy executive. Your favorite fantasy analyst. So I'm taking 9.5 with the Carolina Panthers. If I lose, I lose. I'm willing to live with that. But I think it's the proper side. I think it's the right bet with this one. I really don't like these big public favorites, like how Detroit's a big public favorite this week. Got another public team I want to talk about coming up that's going to be a public team this week as well. And I'm probably going to fade them too. And I got the stats to back it up, but I'll tell you about that in a second. But yeah, Carolina Panthers, I think they go in there. Listen, the strength of what the Detroit Lions want to do defensively is they shut down your running game. And that could be disastrous because the Panthers can't really throw the football or run the football or protect the passer. But the Lions don't generate that much of a pass rush. My man Aiden Hutchinson can get after the quarterback. Think he will this weekend. I think the Carolina Panthers play it close. So I'll take the 9.5 with Carolina. Bryce Young quarterback, number 1 overall pick in the draft in the Motor City this weekend. It's going to be tough sledding. They can get the job done. Look for a big game from Adam Thielen. I think Hayden Hurst in the mix this week too. You know that Detroit has struggled against tight ends this year. Another rookie quarterback in a big spot this weekend, Indianapolis Colts rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson. His Colts are home for the Tennessee Titans this weekend. AFC South matchup right there. The same AFC South that Jacksonville was $1.50 favorite to win. I told y'all back then that was a sucker bet. Now you see that any one of these 4 teams can win this division. This division is much tighter than people think. Yes, Jacksonville probably has the most talented team and the best quarterback in this division. Definitely the best quarterback. But it's still going to be some competition. It's still going to be tough. Now, you look at this game right here, right? The NFL fan mind looks at the game like this. Okay, the Colts at home versus Tennessee. Anthony Richardson versus Ryan Tannehill. That's how the average fan will break down and look at the game, right? And they'll say, I like Anthony Richardson. The Colts just won at home last week. I hate Ryan Tannehill. The Titans suck. And then they'll go with the home favorite Indianapolis Colts. They won't even think about the fact that Mike Vrabel, Tennessee Titan head coach, has never lost a game in Indianapolis. All 4 times Mike Vrabel has taken the Tennessee Titans into Indianapolis, Naptown, that's what they call it out there. They walk away with a victory. Mike Vrabel, 4-0 in Naptown. Does your hometown have a cool hip-hop name? Indianapolis does. It's called Naptown. The Bronx does. It's called the Boogie Down. You get where I'm coming from. Nashville is the music city, not a cool hip-hop name? What would be Nashville's hip-hop name? Enville? Nasty Nash? Something like that? Whatever the case may be. That's not why we're here today. I'm here to prevent you from putting your money on the Indianapolis Colts this week. And I just backed it up. I gave you the stats to prove it. When Tennessee Titans go into Indianapolis, they win the game. Mike Vrabel undefeated in Lucas Field. So go ahead and make that a executive decision and take the one and sprinkle the money line with the Tennessee Titans this weekend. There you go right there. That's an easy winner for you, Heather. You may not like the Lions pick, Heather, but I know you can get behind the Tennessee Titans. Take the one, bet the dog with Tennessee Titans. Nashville is a hip-hop name. Oh, you know what? How? You just hit me. Cashville, Tennessee. That's what it is. That's Nashville's hip-hop name. Cashville, Tennessee. I forgot about Cashville. No Cap Corey in the building. What up, Toronto, Dave? Toronto's hip-hop name is the Six. That's right. Shout out to the Six. Shout out to Cashville. Pop your city in there. We'll give you a hip-hop name too. But anyway, like the Tennessee Titans this weekend in that game, like I said, Mike Vrabel has yet to lose in Indianapolis. Other rookie quarterback on the road this weekend, the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud is getting it done. Houston has a hip-hop name. It's called H-Town. Shout out to H-Town. You ever been to Houston? Houston is lit. Matter of fact, I heard that Drake said he was moving to Houston. And let me tell you something. If you're a single man, Houston, it goes down in Houston. 666 Toronto Dave. 6 Dave in the house. But yeah, Houston Texans, H-Town, they go into Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't need a hip-hop name. Atlanta is a hip-hop name. Right? So Falcons, 2-point home favorites, right? So obviously everybody in their mother, yes, Houston's a humongous city, Hal. I ran through Houston a couple times. Good times was had. I brought home some residuals too. It got me in trouble. But anyway, shout out to H-Town. Shout out to Atlanta too. Falcons home this weekend. So you look at, right, Atlanta, and you say, oh, Atlanta stinks. Atlanta's this, Atlanta's that, Desmond Ridder. And then you see the high-flying C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. Everybody loves the Houston Texans. Everybody loves C.J. Stroud. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, D'Amico Ryans, the Houston Texans +2. Fantasy executive always tells you, be wary of a trendy underdog. And this weekend, everybody in their mother, that means me, my mama, you know what I'm saying? You, your moms, him, his moms, her moms, all going to be on the Houston Texans this weekend. The play is the Atlanta Falcons. In the Arthur Smith era, the Atlanta Falcons have been a moneyline favorite at home 9 times. 8-1 in those 9 games. I repeat, everybody, her and her moms, him and his moms, him back there and his moms, the guy in Houston and his mom, all going to be on C.J. Stroud, Houston Texans. You go ahead and make the right thing, make the executive decision, take the Atlanta Falcons. Arthur Smith, 8-1 on the money line as a home favorite. 8 wins, 1 loss. Atlanta Falcons get it done this weekend. Will Heineke take the Raiders' job? I don't think the Raiders thing is a quarterback thing. I think the Raiders thing is really a scheme thing. I think it's a Josh McDaniels thing. I think it's a poor defense thing. I think the Raiders thing, Ritter's job, I'm sorry. I think could happen. Excuse me. I think Heineke could be the guy that comes in for I think Heineke could be the guy that comes in and takes that job from Desmond Ridder. But here's the thing. All Atlanta want to do is run the football anyway. Like, it doesn't make any sense the way that Arthur Smith runs the team. I mean, at least I don't get it. You don't take advantage of your skill position players in Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Yeah, Bijan is getting work, but is Bijan, everybody's, Bijan's so amazing. Has he really been that amazing this season? don't like the way the Falcons' offense is schemed, to be honest with you. Like, you get rid of Calvin Ridley. I don't know. It's just run, kick a field goal. Run, kick a field goal. Run, punt. Run, turnover. Run, kick a field goal. Run, score a touchdown, win the game. They just seem to stick around. But they'll win this game on Sunday versus the Houston Texans. Dylan, what up? Sam Howell was Zach Wilson's streamer this weekend. My God. Sam Howell and Zach Wilson. Where are the Commanders at this weekend? Left hand up for the Commanders. The Commanders, I believe the Commanders have a bye this weekend. I know you don't got me looking for somebody that got a ball on the Commanders. The Commanders play Thursday night versus the Bears. Okay, now I see why you're looking at the Commanders. Wow. If that's, you would have to play Sam Howell versus that offense. I mean, that defense. I'd play Sam Howell. I hate to play players on Thursday night, especially a quarterback, because if he drops a dud. I remember in 2020 during the pandemic, those two teams met on a Thursday night, and I was on the Commanders, and obviously the Bears won. But the Commanders should win this game this weekend. Sam Howell, led by Eric Bieniemy in that offense. Like, even Russell Wilson, who's a stiff, had a good game versus that defense. So I would continue to go with Sam Howell in that spot right there. Little quick Major League Baseball update before we get up out of here today. Got Major League Baseball action last night. Got some more games in the Wild Card Series going on today. Last night, so the Texas Rangers beat the Tampa Bay Rays 4-0. Jordan Montgomery's 7 shutout innings for the Texas Rangers, but I say the Houston Texans, for the Texas Rangers. Game 2 tonight, Nathan Eovaldi versus Zach Eflin. The Rays, $1.62 favorite on the money line, trying to keep their season alive. The total in this one is coming in at 8. That's Eovaldi and Zach Eflin. The Rays, $1.62 favorite, trying to keep their season alive. Minnesota Twins, Toronto Blue Jays last night or yesterday. Twins 3, Toronto 1. Royce Lewis, 2 home runs off Kevin Gausman, kind of got the party rolling. Toronto couldn't rebound after that. Game 2 tonight, Jose Barrios versus Sonny Gray. The Twins, $1.35 favorite. Total in this one coming in at 7.5. That's game 2, Jose Barrios versus Sonny Gray. Twins trying to send Toronto packing for the season. National League action, Diamondbacks 6, Brewers 3. Corbin Burns gives up 3 home runs in the first 4 innings. They got after him. They chased Corbin Burns out of there. So tonight in game 2, you get Zach Gallen versus Freddie Peralta. Brewers, $1.30 favorite. Total coming in this one at 7.5. Zach Gallen versus Freddie P out there. Brewers try to keep their season alive. And then tonight in Philadelphia Phillies, Miami Marlins. Last night, Zach Wheeler, 1 earned through 6 2/3, struck out 8. Marlins couldn't get it going offensively. Tonight, Braxton Garrett versus Aaron Nola. Phil's $1.60 favorite. Total is 8 in that one right there. So a little quick MLB playoff update. Zach plays Denver, though, horrible teams. You're right. Both them teams do play horrible teams. I do believe, though, that I would take Sam Howell a little bit more seriously. Jets on the road in this one right here. So that kind of worries me a little bit right there. How do you feel about the Denver backfield? Will Javonte play? Who, if anyone, would you want to own out of the other two? I wouldn't want to own any of these guys. Javonte Williams, like I said, I don't think he's hurt that bad. Not sure if he's going to play. Obviously, those practice reports start to roll out later on today and later on this week. But I really just don't like that running game at all. That guy, Jaleel McLaughlin, I wouldn't go crazy for him on the waiver wire. I wouldn't drop too much fab on Sun because I'm not sure of how much work he's going to get. Javonte should be good to go this weekend, or at least coming up shortly. It shouldn't be that long of an injury, Hal. So I'm not really into those Denver Broncos running backs right now. I know running backs that start and get carries are gold for fantasy owners, you know what I'm saying? But just look at the situation right now. Just that offense to me, it hasn't been terrible. I'm not into that running game. Give me the best guy under the guys right there. So that's where we stand right there. Got plenty Major League Baseball playoffs today. Matter of fact, Sportstopia Fantasy Fire and Ice MLB edition coming up here after this program right here. Then I'll be here at 10 o'clock Eastern time with the Sportstopia NBA show. I'll be back leading that one right there. We're going to talk some win totals on that right there. So got a good hour coming up so far on this network. Before we get about here, let me tell you about the good folks over at Fantasy Alarm and what you can do. Get all your fantasy football questions answered by starting a free 7-day trial a Fantasy Alarms All-Pro subscription. Get all the Week 4 and 5 DFS content and picks for free. Go to fantasyalarm.com/win. That's how you get that done. With Russ being Russ, why don't they run more? Exactly. I think, honestly speaking, I think this is a download. I think Sean Payton is trying to get the first pick of the draft. And how? Yes, hoops every day at 10. I think Sean Payton wants the first pick of the draft, get his own quarterback in there. So I really think Sean Payton could care less about this Denver Bronco team this year. All right, so Sportstopia, MLB, Fantasy Fire and Ice with Sarah and Chris coming up. I'll be back at 10 with my man Stu, talk a little football. A Better Morning. We are out. Holla at you guys tomorrow.